Well, hello there. We are now to the last episode of Skeleton Crew. I gotta say, this show has been pretty solid. It hasn't been groundbreaking by any means, though anything new for Star Wars being good might be groundbreaking, but it has been very good. There wasn't anything lore-breaking, not really any trash moments, just a solid kids show that laid out a simple story and played it out very well. I will say, there could possibly be a season 2, but it doesn't really look like that we will get one because of how little this show was watched. Star Wars is at the point where things won't really get watched as much because of the damage that has already been done, and there needs to be a pretty big show or movie to bring that hype back. But that is a topic for a different time. But the final episode was pretty good. It was definitely a little all over the place and fast-paced, but I kind of thought it would be more of the adventure and less of the character development. In the last episode, we got to see Jod's plan for Adatin, the kids fighting for the planet, and we got a lot of answers about Jod. But with that, let's get into the episode. The episode starts with Jod standing with his saber in front of the kids and their parents. He continues to play the role and says that the kids are in trouble. He tells the droids to keep the parents and the kids in their houses under watch and report back. After Fern has a sly comment, Jod takes both Fern and her mom with him to see the supervisor. Wim and his dad head home and have a conversation. Wim's dad brings up the assessment and it spurs an argument between them. Wim almost mentions that Jod isn't a Jedi in front of the droid, and he tries to get his dad to realize that Jod isn't a good guy without saying anything. Wim's dad just shrugs things off and says that the supervisor will protect the planet. Wim tries to contact Neil, but he says he can't talk, and Wim almost gets caught by the droid. Jod, Fern, and her mom make it up to the top of the supervisor's tower. The room looks old and abandoned when they first get up there. Eventually, a machine in the center of the room turns on and turns around, to show that the supervisor is actually an artificial intelligence and is just a big droid. I definitely didn't see that coming, but it does make sense. Jod introduces himself as a Jedi, which is something that I will come back to in just a second. Jod tries to get contact with his other ship, and the supervisor says that he will let it through if Jod can answer a question. The last communication with the Republic that came through to Adatin was that the Jedi were traitors to the Republic. This means that the last thing that the planet should know from outside knowledge is of Order 66. This is a bit odd to me because all the information that Wim has had on his pad of Jedi was that they were keepers of the peace and that sort of stuff. So I find it strange that the supervisor would be allowing information stating otherwise to exist. My other issue here is that Jod apparently has no knowledge at all about the Jedi being hunted down for the last however many years. The Empire blasted anti-Jedi propaganda to the point where regular people were afraid of them, and those in the outskirts of the galaxy, like Luke, would have never heard about them. Jod has been around Jedi before, as we will learn later, and has likely been around Imperial or Republic space in the past. So it is a bit of a stretch to say that he would not have any knowledge of this. Not a huge plot hole, but definitely an interesting choice to have him not have any knowledge of the Jedi being labeled as traitors. With that said, Fern calls out Jod as a pirate and the supervisor has the droids go after Jod. He then stabs the saber right into the eye of the supervisor, ending him right there. This causes everything in the city to shut down, as the supervisor was controlling it all. All of the security droids go down as well, and Jod starts looking for a way to take down the barrier. Fern's mother steps in, and instead of the barrier taken down entirely, she offers to just allow the ship through. Jod says that he wants to take some credits and leave, and Fern tries to call him out before getting threatened with the saber again. Jod gets a message through to the frigate and tells them to begin the invasion. The frigate begins to come through as Wim notices that the droids are off. He tells his dad about Jod being bad as they see the frigate coming in. The frigate begins to open fire on the city as all the kids watch. Wim's dad is now trying to start the car speeder thing to get out of the city, but Wim says that they can't run because Fern is in danger. Neil and KB show up on the small bike speeders and say that they can help if they can manage to get a message out to Kim and get the X-Wings to come back. They want to get to the ship and get past the barrier in order to get the message out. The three kids go off on the speeders and Wim's dad tries to follow. He stops right next to the older boy with the faster speeder we see in the first episode, and Wim's dad takes that speeder and follows. We then get an ensuing chase scene where the kids are running from the pirates, who have some landing craft things similar to the Trandoshan ones we see in the Clone Wars. The kids run down the forest path that they took in the first episode and jump over the small cliff they fell into to find the ship in the first episode. Wim's dad seems excited about the jump, and the kids continue back into the city. Neil's bike gets taken out, and he radios Wim that he's going to try to get cover for the ship taking off. The rest of them make it to the ship, but they can't take off because the landing gear is stuck. Wim's dad says that they have to restore power to the clamps through the supervised tower, and him and Wim take off towards the tower. Neil finds the large battery that was on top of the building at Ad Akron, as Jod is at the tower, saying not to hurt too many of the people, as he still needs workers for the Mint. Fern talks to her mother about the adventuresome, and that there are tons of good people out in the galaxy, not just the bad ones. They try to make a plan before Jod notices and cuts them off. Jod sends out a message to the city saying that he is now in charge. Back with Wim and his dad, they're running from another pirate vessel. They make it to the tower, and Wim comes up the elevator. He tells Jod that he called the X-Wings and comes up with a random story of how he got the message through to stall Jod while his dad sneaks in to get the power back on. KB manages to take off with the help of 33, who she has managed to turn back on. Neil covers her by shooting the frigate and taking their attention. Jod tells the kids that they really shouldn't have sent the ship up and doesn't seem to be too happy about what is about to happen. KB gets the message through to Kim and gets help before the ship gets hit by the pirate fighters and starts to go down. Jod tells everyone to look at what they've done as they see the ship go down into the city and appear to crash. Jod seems bothered by this and doesn't seem like he is too happy about hurting kids. Fern tries to go for the barrier destruct, and Jod looks like he doesn't want to shoot her as Fern's mother holds her back. After a struggle, Wim ends up with his hand on the lever, but Jod is holding the saber right at Wim's dad's neck. Wim calls him a liar, and Jod tells Wim to grow up. Jod says that when he was a kid, he was found by a Jedi. He was trained by her briefly before she was killed and he was forced to watch. He says that the galaxy is dark with only a few pinpricks of light, and he will kill for those few pinpricks. I find this line interesting because it tells me that he may have been wanting to get the money from Ad Atten in order to help people in terrible situations like he was when he was a kid. Just a thought. Wim eventually lets go of the lever, and Jod says that he didn't want to hurt anyone or the planet, he just wanted to take over and have them continue making credits. While still talking, Wim's dad catches Jod off guard and punches him right in the face, causing Jod to drop his saber. Wim picks up the saber, and Jod tries to use the Force to get it back, while also fighting with Wim's dad, who is going for the lever. With the help of Fern's mom, they pull the lever and the barrier begins to go down. Jod then throws his blaster to the side, seeing that his plans are failing. As the barrier breaks, the stars can be seen, as well as New Republic fighters coming in to take out the pirates. The pirates get taken out quickly with some cool B-Wing action. Wim, Fern, and their parents head out to go find KB, leaving Jod to watch his frigate go down. Jod gives a brief smirk, showing that he has an idea for something. The frigate crashes down, and the pirate threat is gone. Everyone makes it to the site where KB went down, and find her to be knocked out for a moment, but okay. She comes to and asks if they won, and the kids celebrate. 33 comes out holding his head, saying that it was one of his better landings. A Corellian Corvette comes in as Wim watches, and that is where the final ends. Overall, a solid episode with a lot going on. The show as a whole was pretty good, with only minor things that I would personally change. They did leave things pretty open with Jod, as the last time we saw him, he did definitely have a plan for something. But again, I'm not sure if we will see another season or not, but overall I enjoyed this. I know for a fact if I was a kid, I'd be rewatching it every few months because I do think that this is an excellent kids show. I am interested if they do take these characters somewhere in the future, like Wim becoming an X-Wing pilot or something like that, and I'm definitely very interested in Jod as a character. I find him very interesting and I hope we get to see more of him in the future. But yeah, definitely a solid show, definitely a good one to watch with family, especially if kids are watching it. And yeah, very good, I enjoyed it. And that'll do it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching this series. It was a lot of fun to get back to making content where I get to speak more. Hope y'all have a great day, and God bless.